Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a brand new speed build, this time doing an absolute whopper of a build. This is Windenburg Farm. It's a 4-bed, 3-bathroom build set on a 64 by 64 lot, obviously in Windenburg, and it comes in at just less than 184,000 simoleons, which actually isn't a bad price really, considering this is a 64 by 64 lot. So basically yesterday we got a huge update to The Sims 4, and for those people who own every single pack, we have gained access to over 1,200 decorative items, and this is in the hidden menu. So I'm just going to explain to you that this update actually affects everybody, even if you've got base game, and they're basically allowing us to access every single item that you can see in the Sims world that we don't already have in our games. So even if you have base game, you also will have extra items that you can access and play around with. And these items are purely decorative and you can't actually interact with them. It's just absolutely a brilliant update for people like myself who love to build in The Sims. So in order to access the hidden menu, what you need to do is press Ctrl, Shift and C and type in bb.showhiddenobjects, enter, and that's literally all one word, bb.showhiddenobjects, enter, and then after that you type in bb.showliveeditobjects and then enter. So I'll put all that in the description box below so you know exactly what you're doing. I don't know if you do need to enter in both the codes, but I know ordinarily to access that menu beforehand you needed to have like the show hidden objects. So I did them both together and it worked anyway. I know the first time round I did it, I just did show hidden objects and nothing appeared and I panicked and was like, oh. So anyway, that's how I got into it, but I'll put all that in the description box below and you guys can go and check that out if you haven't already done so. So I can't tell you over the years of playing The Sims 4 how much I have actually spotted objects within the world and thought, why can't we just have access to that? Why can't we just, have that as an item in the game? It would be really, really good. So to finally get the option to have all those items available meant that last night was really, really interesting. I decided before the release of the update that I was going to do a farm. Now in my last video I asked you guys what you'd like to see on my channel next and to throw me some ideas over and I would make a list, and thank you so much to everyone who put input into that in the comments section, because I wrote a really nice long list of builds that I can come up with and do. But the first one I chose to do was a farm. Now it was requested to do a farm that would house a pony, but unfortunately because we don't have anything kind of pony related, I didn't really want to make a lot that was kind of had useless buildings in it, if you know what I mean. I think in the future if we ever get horses or ponies or anything like that with an update, I would love to kind of amend the farm. In fact, I wouldn't even do that. I'd just build a massive farm from scratch. But I did want to keep that in mind, that this was going to be a farm that was based in Windenburg, and if anything, it has a little flower shop at the very back of the farm, and this was a separate outhouse building that I built that contained lots of planters, the flower arranging table, it had a little sit down area, and I kind of imagine that this is a place that the locals visit and come to pick up some fresh flowers. But I also wanted it to be a kind of farm that would house animals, so I certainly had lots of areas that had big hay bales and things like that for all those animals that we don't actually have. So we just have to use our imagination with this. So what I actually did before the release yesterday was I built myself a farmhouse shell. So I built a shell, and because I had no idea what items were coming, and I really knew that last night I was going to be kind of searching through this menu. Now this menu is a bit of a nightmare, I'm not going to lie. There is absolutely no way of kind of typing in what you're looking for, and you've you've literally got to just search through the entire menu. Now, whilst I was on Twitter last night, a lady posted up, I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name, but she posted up that a really good idea would be to create a room and put all of the objects in it that you are going to use. So it could be like every single car that's in that menu, place it into a room and save the room into your library. That way, every single time you want to access one of the cars, you can literally download the room and, you know, there it is, instead of having to search through the menu. So this was a time consuming build because I think I spent most of it in that menu just trying to find things. And the worst thing is ordinarily with normal items, you can literally duplicate those items with the click of a button, whereas the items in the hidden menu, as far as I'm aware, you can't. So if I wanted to place multiple items, or say I'd gone off to do something else and I came back and I needed to place more, I literally had to search through that menu again. So this took me in total 8.5 hours over last night and today, but I was absolutely determined to get it done and get it finished. So last night was really fun because it was nice to just kind of like discover what objects we had available, and with it popped up lots of fresh ideas of new builds I'd like to do. But ultimately, knowing already in my mind that I wanted to do a farmhouse, it was just trying to find all those items that would fit perfectly within the kind of surroundings of a farm. So initially what you've seen me do is literally build the house. I built the house first, and then I decorated the outside as well as did a little bit of the landscaping around before I then decided to kind of really map out the grounds of the farm and kind of separate, you know, each of the little kind of fields that I wanted around the farm, and really wanted to start trying to think about what I wanted to place in each one of them. Now, as it was, I just kept discovering more and more things. So I was going through this menu and I kept thinking, oh, I better place that now, because if I don't place it now, I'll probably lose it. So this speed build's going to be a bit strange because I am literally bouncing around all over the place, but eventually it all came together and I finally got it finished today. In all honesty, I have absolutely no idea why these objects weren't released years ago, because the pain that us builders have been through in creating things like waterfalls, and the whole time there was one in a hidden menu somewhere. It's quite frustrating, but nevertheless, I'm not going to complain. I'm really happy with all the items that, you know, we've got. Some of them are useless, don't get me wrong. Some of them are just like rubbish, but for those that particularly love clutter and things like that, and I know quite a few builders who are really good at clutter, this is brilliant for those, and I can't wait to see what kind of builds are popping out in the community from this point on. It's a really exciting update, and one that I'm, you know, really happy with. And also I have to put in a side note as well, because we talked in the last video about the rebranding of The Sims 4. So if any of you have updated your game already, you'll see the new kind of intro and the new main menu, as well as the loading screens. Now, to me, it looks like they may have tweaked the blue, because the blue doesn't look anywhere near as intense as I thought that it looked from their live stream. But regardless, nevertheless, whether they listened and tweaked it or whether it's just that's the way it looks, I actually don't think it looks that bad at all. So I like it. I think it's quite nice. I'm not sure about the new packaging for the game packs and things like that, but I've always personally bought my kind of game packs and stuff packs and things like that online, so I've never had to have, you know, a physical copy of the games anyway, so it really doesn't affect me. But overall, I was pretty happy. It wasn't too much of a big change, if you know what I mean, that I initially think a lot of the community thought it was going to be. So just coming back to the build, I'm currently working on what initially started out to be a kind of greenhouse. And then I decided I wanted it to be a little bit of a greenhouse as well as a working area. And then it slowly kind of transformed into what I imagined to be like a little flower shop, just a nice little outdoor outhouse where, you know, you could work away. If flower arranging and gardening and all those things were your cup of tea, then this is the corner of the farm for you. So just recently, obviously, we've done a lot of building in Solani with the new pack of Island Living, and I absolutely adore that world. But second to that world is probably a very close sort of second place is Willow Creek and Windenburg. I absolutely love both of these worlds, mainly just because they're so vibrant and homely and green. I love all the trees. Honestly, as soon as I opened that menu yesterday and I saw that update, the first thing I was excited to see was a weeping willow tree, because the amount of times I've built in Willow Creek purely because the scenery around the lot is kind of covered and surrounded in weeping willows, I was like, yeah! I was so happy. And there's actually two versions of that tree as well, because there was one that was released with Jungle Adventure, I believe. So there's kind of like a darker toned one that's sort of exactly the same as the ones you see in Willow Creek. So I was very, very happy about that, which means that I might actually explore some different lots as well. Now that I can actually take my weeping willows with me. But basically, I did the entire landscaping of this farm, and there was 8.5 hours worth of footage to go through, and I've tried to cut it down as best as I can. But the truth is, there is so much detail to this build, from, you know, all on the outside, activities and skill building items, just little shading and things like the hanging baskets that were placed outside the house. There is a lot that probably you don't really see. So to get a real close-up look at this house, you'd need to download it off the gallery, which it will be available now, and my origin ID is Simkin Builds, or I think the easiest way to find my builds is under the hashtag Simkim. But I just couldn't simply fit it all in. It was just absolutely loads, and I really wanted to spend a lot of time, you know, being as thorough and as detailed as I could, because I absolutely love detailed builds. In fact, so much so, when I look to find a new builder to follow and a new builder to support, a lot of the times the ones that I love the most are the ones that spend a lot of time, you know, paying attention to detail, because that for me is what does it. And I feel sometimes when you're building as well, it's almost like you're doing a painting and you're kind of like sketching it out before you kind of filling it all in and adding lots of colour. And that's kind of how I see my building. So, you know, I do love lots of detail. Sometimes with some builds I'm not as detailed, but with a farm I really wanted to go all out. So I'm secretly hoping that we're going to get some kind of farming pack in the future. I would love, I mean, I've said this before in the last couple of videos, but honestly I'm like, please. I think it's ever since I read that comment that said, you know, that they feel that there is a lot of hints and tips being dropped by the Sims team with regards to a future farm pack. It's just got my hopes up now, and I'd be devastated if it didn't happen. I think I'd be really, really upset. So, you know, secretly I'm hoping that we'll get, you know, lots of little new animals to play around with, and we'll get more support with the off-the-grid trait. So basically, coming back to the house, coming to the interior of this build, I wanted to keep it very warm and homely and kind of, or homey I think you call it in America, and I just wanted it to be really kind of cozy and warm. So there was lots of dark tones used, lots of kind of dark woods, and I just really, really enjoyed doing the interior. It actually wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. When I initially kind of dropped the walls and came to do the interior, I was like, I think this is going to take me forever to finish. But actually, the rooms were all kind of a really nice size, so it was quite fun to do. So yeah, it's just very neutral downstairs. You know me, downstairs is always fairly neutral. I used a lot of the outside exterior walls on the inside as well. I just kind of brought the outside to the inside, and just, I mean, I have said this before as well, but I do love stone feature walls. I just think they look so beautiful. I don't know how you would clean one though. That's the only thing. Like, do you actually clean one? Do you hoover it? Do you dust it? How would you clean a stone wall? I have no idea. But anyway, I really like them, so I like doing them in The Sims, and this was the perfect build to do them in. The only thing that I didn't include in this build, and that's purely because of time, was the bathrooms, but there is a screenshot at the end of the video that you'll be able to see. But there's basically 2 bathrooms upstairs and 1 bathroom downstairs, and I just kept it, I think the kit was very blue and dark brown, and I used the bathroom suite, which I think came from Outdoor Retreat, the one that's kind of very wooden. I have no idea how that would actually work either. A wooden framed shower, like surely that would like rot within a matter of weeks and be completely useless, but whatever, it looked really good. So that's what we've got. But we had the master bedroom, which I'm currently working on at the moment, as well as 3 other bedrooms. So we had a teen girls room as well as 2 boys rooms. One of them was maybe for a teen boy or a child, which is the one that I'm working on now. And the other one was probably for a child, really. I didn't add in any toddler beds or anything like that, but this is a really good sized house, and it would certainly house a really big family as well, which is exactly what I think. If I imagine a farmhouse, I imagine that it's got a really big house which houses like a huge family. So that's what I wanted this house to have. I was tempted to do a kind of off the grid farmhouse, but I decided against it. So it does still have lots of computers and electrical items, and of course it'll have utility bills. But I do think an off the grid farm would be a good idea in the future. It would be fantastic, to be honest. So that's probably something I'll do in the future, but we'll have to wait and see, you know, what packs we get next. So I hope you're all well and you're all having a fantastic week so far. I'm actually having a really busy week, and I'm over the moon to say that my best friend actually had her baby yesterday. I was so nervous because I actually woke up in the middle of the night and she was majorly overdue anyway, and I kind of woke up in the middle of the night, and I never normally wake up, but as I woke up my phone flashed and it was a message from her to tell me that her waters had broke at 3 a.m. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I was really excited, but the last time I'd heard from her was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I think it got right the way through to sort of past 6 o'clock last night, and I was really starting to worry. And I was thinking, I've not heard anything, and I was just like, oh. But then before you know it, she'd messaged me a gorgeous picture of her beautiful boy, and yeah, so massive congratulations to them. It's just amazing to see, you know, her little family nice and complete. She's got 2 beautiful boys now, so I'm over the moon for them both. But we are fast approaching the end of the week, and this for us in the UK, or at least for my children anyway, means that they are actually going to be on the 6-week school holidays. So, I get really excited about my kids being home on school holidays, actually. I really like them being home. They're just all so different, and they've all got their own personalities, and I love them very much. And it's always, you know, a lot of fun really having them about and just getting to spend all that extra time with them. But 6 weeks is a long time, so we'll have to see how we get on. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. So I also just wanted to give you guys a quick update on my daughter for all those that are asking. She's actually doing absolutely amazing. She's back in school full time and she's doing really, really well. So a massive thank you to everybody that left all your comments, you know, on previous videos. It really means the world to me, and it does to her as well. But thank you so much for watching the video if you've got this far. If you enjoyed it, please give me a big thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, it would make my day if you did. Take care, guys. Bye.
watching me steady, I know, wondering why I'm so hollow. You're showing me all of your best while I'm giving you all